You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. Two separate crashes tied up traffic between Minersville and Higgins on Interstate 81 in Schuylkill County Wednesday. The first accident happened around 1:30 yesterday afternoon and involved a single vehicle near mile marker 108 in Freely Township, which caused both southbound lanes to shut down. The second crash happened around 8 p.m. and involved two tractor trailers just a few miles away from the first accident scene. The coroner's office was called in, and state police say that the second accident resulted in 2 fatalities. Both southbound lanes were reopened to traffic earlier today. A 3-alarm fire severely damaged several homes in Carbon County Wednesday night. The fire broke out around 8 p.m. in the area of Patterson and West Ridge Streets. When fire crews arrived, they found flames shooting through the roofs of 154 and 156 West Ridge Street. Firefighters from both Carbon and Schuylkill counties battled the blaze that damaged 2 homes and 2 apartments. Fortunately, no injuries were reported, and a state police fire marshal was called in to investigate the cause of that Carbon County fire. The Penn State Board of Trustees appointed the university's 19th president. Neeli Bendapudi was appointed this morning to take over the $950,000 salary position and become the first woman and person of color to head all Penn State University campuses, hospitals, and 31,000 full-time employees. Prior to her appointment, Bendapudi served as president for the University of Louisville for 3 years. Barron will continue to serve as president until Bendapudi takes over on July 1st. Geisinger's at max capacity, treating primarily COVID-19 patients as the surge continues. COVID cases are on the rise across the state, and many health systems are finding themselves struggling to keep up with the patient influx. Geisinger President and Chief Executive Officer Dr. Jaewon Ryu said their 9 hospitals are being overrun with largely unvaccinated patients and expects the situation to deteriorate in the coming weeks. Geisinger ran out of beds, and ER doctors are currently making their rounds in waiting rooms to diagnose patients in need of emergency help. According to the State Department of Health, nearly 4,000 people are being hospitalized with COVID-19 on a daily basis statewide. Health officials are urging residents to get their vaccinations or boosters to prevent a further strain on both the healthcare system and frontline workers alike. St. Luke's University Health Network also updated its visitor policy due to the recent surge. St. Luke's currently has over 200 patients, which is virtually the same number the network had around this time last year. Officials said the current surge is largely driven by unvaccinated people. Under the updated visitor policy, St. Luke's will allow up to 2 visitors per patient. Visitors must be in good health and masks must be worn. Visiting hours are between noon and 8 p.m. for visitors ages 12 and up. Meanwhile, only 2 parents or guardians can visit children in the pediatric unit, pediatric ICU, or neonatal ICU. As for the emergency department, only 1 visitor per patient will be permitted. Visit slhn.org/COVID-19 for additional updates and information. A Sugarloaf Township man pled guilty in the fatal hit and run of a construction worker along Interstate 81 in Hazel Township back in August of last year. State police at Hazelton charged 28-year-old Zachary Gerbino for allegedly driving through a work zone at an unsafe speed and striking 30-year-old Kevin Dendolk of Limerick, who flew 30 feet from the point of impact and was pronounced dead at the scene. Court records show that Gerbino fled the scene, and troopers found the vehicle at his residence in the process of being disassembled. Video surveillance from the 4th Street pub in West Hazelton also captured Gerbino at the bar prior to the crash. Gerbino pled guilty to vehicular homicide, DUI, reckless driving, and failing to yield in a construction zone. He was sentenced to serve 2 to 4 years in state prison, followed by 1-year probation. A lawyer is arguing the validity of Acting Health Secretary Allison Beam's K-12 school mask mandate that took effect early September. The argument involves a single regulation adopted back in 2000, which gives the DOH authority to direct a, quote, modified quarantine of contacts of a person with a transmittable disease or infection, and any other control measures for the surveillance of disease needed to protect people from it. The order was set to expire last Saturday after the Commonwealth Court found that BEAM lacked the authority to require masks, didn't follow state laws to enact regulations, and acted without a required existing disaster emergency declared by Governor Tom Wolf in place. Wolf announced last month his intentions of returning the authority over masking decisions to local school districts in January, but will still require masks in child care centers and early learning programs. State police are asking for information on the whereabouts of 83-year-old Robert Hodson. Hodson was last seen in Bart Township, Lancaster County, operating a 2018 black four-door Chevy Silverado truck. He's described as being 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighing 160 pounds, with gray hair and blue eyes. He was last seen wearing blue jeans, a burgundy shirt, a brown coat, and gray sneakers. Police also believe that Hodson may be at special risk of harm or injury. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is being asked to contact PSP at 717-299-7650 or dial 911. West Hazleton Borough Council unanimously adopted its nearly $2.9 million budget for 2022 last night. The spending plan, which does not include a property tax increase, also keeps the millage rates at 5.38 mils. 4.77 mils are levied for the general fund, and the other 0.61 will pay debts. Borough officials also anticipate ending the year with a surplus in order to help offset expenses projected for 2022. PennDOT says it's struggling to hire drivers, which could impact how fast the roads get cleared of ice and snow this season. $200,000 was budgeted for statewide winter operations to prep for snowstorms 24/7. However, as of October, 4,700 PennDOT workers were ready to hit the road, and hundreds of positions were left vacant. CDL operators make anywhere from $17 to $20 an hour based on location, and those without a CDL can complete the Transportation Equipment Operator Trainee Program to be eligible for the position. Seasonal work is also being sought after, which can lead to full-time positions with benefits. Service Electric Cablevision announced that it'll be doing emergency maintenance next week in parts of Schuylkill County. Due to trees falling on power lines a few weeks ago, fiber was severely damaged and needs to be repaired ASAP. Starting Tuesday, December 14th at midnight, maintenance will affect all services, which includes TV, internet, and SECV phone service in Shenandoah, Shen Heights, Patterson, Lost Creek, and Ringtown. Service Electric anticipates that repairs will take until about 6 a.m. and that both internet modems and telephone MTAs may need to be unplugged and rebooted once completed. Customers can contact the office at 1-800-242-3707 if their services don't return by 8:30 a.m. Coming up on WYLN News, who bought the Rail Riders? Plus, all the Christmas cheer right here in Hazleton. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
My name is Alexander Bonomo. I'm 12 years old, and tomorrow's WYLN forecast is partly cloudy.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
Have you ever experienced that super pushy salesperson that follows you all around? Not here.
Or wandered around that big box store looking for help in the appliance department only to find the pink guy? Not here.
And we have an experienced, courteous sales staff here to help you find the perfect mattress, piece of furniture, or appliance with no pressure.
And don't forget, everyday low prices.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
Hey, did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network.
The Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders announced an agreement to become a part of Diamond Baseball Holdings. DBH, a subsidiary of global sports and entertainment company Endeavor, purchased the franchise from SWB Investors LLC. DBH will support ticket sales, partnerships, naming and media rights, food and beverage, merch, and content strategy, as well as collectibles, authentics, and NFTs. However, the Rail Riders will continue to be led by team president John Adams and general manager Katie Beekman. The team will also remain an MLB affiliate of the New York Yankees. Prior to the sale, the team was owned by Mandalay Baseball. The Alice C. Wiltsey Performing Arts Center will be hosting the 16th annual Sounds of the Season Let's Celebrate this weekend. Doors open at 6 for the 7 p.m. concert this Saturday, December 11th. The event will feature the renowned Hazleton Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra under the direction of Robert Lagana, with special performances by the Faberge Follies, the Cougar Crooners, and featured soloists. Tickets are $10 each and all seating is general admission. Tickets can be purchased through any orchestra or dance member and will be available at the door the night of. Regardless of vaccination status, masking and social distancing will be observed during the performance. We'll see you at the Wiltsey. 1224 will also be performing at the Wiltsey Center, but next week. The High Energy Full-Scale Holiday Rock Orchestra will be performing at the Wiltsey next Friday, December 17th. Show starts at 8, but the lobby will be open to the public from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. with local crafters and businesses. Tickets will be sold at Boscov's in the Laura Mall for $25 each or online at eventbrite.com. Masking and social distancing will be observed during the performance regardless of vaccination status. You can visit wiltseycenter.org or their Facebook page or call 570-455-5863 for more. Coming up on Lost Creek's News Choice, we have Bob Lagana with us in Community and You. Plus, leading the way, Part 4. Stay with us.
No matter how busy life gets, your health needs to come first. That's why the relationship you build with your Lehigh Valley Health Network primary care doctor is one of the most important you'll ever have. From identifying your personal health risk factors to coordinating care with specialists, LVHN is here to partner with you every step of the way. And with the choice of virtual or in-person visits, it's never been easier to put your health at the top of your to-do list. Take the first step by visiting lvhn.org or by calling 888-402-LVHN.
M&J Excavation, serving the area with quality and dependable home heating oil with competitive pricing. Also on and off-road oil delivery for your heavy equipment. They also provide paving and excavation services. 570-233-1898.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman on WYLN TV 35. Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 4, Sundays at 9.
Membership opportunities are now available at the Valley Country Club, 79 Country Club Lane in Sugarloaf. Clubhouse upgrades are in progress and will be ready for the spring. Call Frank Radis for details at 570-233-5328.
1224 presents a high-energy holiday rock orchestra concert featuring holiday music as well as their own holiday creations. Inspired by the music and stage presentation of some of music's greatest rock orchestras, this group delivers. See them at the Wiltsey Center, 700 North Wyoming Street in Hazleton, Friday, December 17th at 8 p.m. Get your tickets online at wiltseycenter.org. Tickets are now on sale for the annual Sounds of the Season concert at the Alice C. Wiltsey Performing Arts Center in Hazleton. Ring in the holidays with performances by the Hazleton Philharmonic Orchestra under the direction of Robert Lagana, Faberge Follies, and the Hazleton Area High School Cougar Crooners. General admission tickets are just $10. Sounds of the Season, December 11th, is sponsored by these local businesses.
Hi everyone, welcome to Community and You on WYLN. I'm Tracy Grover. Today we're here with Bob Lagana, the director of the Greater Hazleton Philharmonic. Bob, thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Tracy.
So Bob, let's talk about this year's Sounds of the Season and what people can expect.
Okay, this is actually going to be our 16th Sounds of the Season. It should have taken place in 2019, but unfortunately I had a mishap. I broke my ankle right at the end of October, so we had to cancel the show for that year. And then, of course, the following year was the COVID lockdown and everything. So we're actually 3 years since the last Sounds of the Season that we did. But it's going to be spectacular, I think, this year. In that period of time, we picked up some new ideas. One of the things that we've been doing over the last several years has been incorporating Faberge Follies, the School of Dance, into our programs, and Faberge has done a wonderful job. I think she has like 6 production numbers that she'll do with the orchestra, and so it's going to be fun, ranging from little tykes all the way on up to some skilled acrobats. So I mean, it's going to be a great show this year. We've improved on the music, more current music. We're going to be doing something from a section of 1224 Christmas Eve at Sarajevo. And we're also going to be doing a new piece that was done by Danny Elfman, The Nightmare Before Christmas. So we're going to do a selection from that this year. So we've upped the program, the energy of the program from this year. So it looks like it's going to be a real dandy.
Great.
Plus some old favorites from the past. Jack James will be doing some vocals with us again this year. And we do have, we didn't have enough time to get it into the program, but Joe Chukra, who's a well-known guitar teacher in the area and also a songwriter, comprised, he told me just the other day, he put together a classical piece that he's going to do on guitar also, which will be in the middle of the show. So it's going to be a fun show this year, I'm sure.
Certainly sounds like it. Tell us a little bit about what type of preparation it takes to put something like this on.
Well, it's not something that happens overnight. There's a lot of things that have to be taken into consideration. What type of music you can do, who's going to be a part of the show. And as I said, we've been fortunate over the last year having Faberge working with us, because that gives us a little more variety. When we started, we've had vocalists that have worked with us. We've had the community choir, Freeland Community Choir, worked with us for several years. So over the years, we've each one of those required a different type of preparation. Usually it starts in late summer. We start putting things down. Everybody else is still swimming in the swimming pools, and we're figuring on the Christmas show for December. But in the end, it takes a little bit of preparation. But once we have a good idea of the music we're going to use, then we can start moving forward, and hopefully everything gels by the first week in December. So that's the way it starts. And I think this year we've had a long time to think about this one. So I think we're going to have some fun with this show this year.
What's it like performing at the Wiltsey Center?
The Wiltsey's grand. We originally started, those of us that know the history behind the Philharmonic. In 1989, we opened up the Ferrara Center downtown, which of course still bears his name now. We ran that for 20 years or so, and then it got to be a little bit too big for us. We had difficulty, so we decided to sell off the building, and eventually PTPA became the new owners of it. And we just kind of went back to freelancing again, found a place that we could call home. And then as far as the development of the way things have been going for those years, we've been able to we've branched out, I guess, in the sense of the kinds of things that we do. So I mean, it's been a great go of the last several years, especially since we've been on our own. It's been fun. I can't think of a better place in Hazleton that since we went in there in 2011, and it's been great. The last bunch of years that we've been there has been it's the perfect place to put on a show like ours, for sure.
Okay. The show is December 11th.
December 11th.
Doors open at 6. Show at 7.
Shows at 7.
Okay, and tell us how you purchase the tickets.
Well, we've sold a lot of tickets this year, but that doesn't mean there isn't anything available. Probably the best thing to do now is to come early and purchase them right at the door. I'm sure you'll be able to get in. I don't think we will be a sellout crowd, but if you want to get tickets and you haven't obtained them yet, the best thing to do is to come early. And this way, they're general seating. They're all general seating. So if you purchase it, you get a good opportunity to get a good seat if you come a little bit earlier. So that's we've put a lot of tickets out there this year, and there's a lot of interest, probably because we've been away for a few years now. So it's going to be a good show, and I believe we're going to have a pretty large audience. So.
Okay. All right. Well, Bob, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Tracy.
View. Thank you for joining us on Community NU. Make sure you grab your tickets before they're all gone. We'll see you next time.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
Have you ever experienced that super pushy salesperson who follows you all around? Not here.
Or wandered around that big box store looking for help in the appliance department, only to find the pink guy? Not here.
And we have an experienced, courteous sales staff here to help you find the perfect mattress, piece of furniture, or appliance with no pressure.
And don't forget, everyday low prices.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
No matter how busy life gets, your health needs to come first. That's why the relationship you build with your Lehigh Valley Health Network primary care doctor is one of the most important you'll ever have. From identifying your personal health risk factors to coordinating care with specialists, LVHN is here to partner with you every step of the way. And with the choice of virtual or in-person visits, it's never been easier to put your health at the top of your to-do list. Take the first step by visiting lvhn.org or by calling 888-402-LVHN.
When you see news happening in your neighborhood, call WYLN News at 570-459-1869 or email us at news@wylntv.com or send us a message on social media through Facebook. WYLN, we're your local network. WYLN CA35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the Children's Programming Report is on file for public inspection at WYLN 1057 East 10th Street in Hazleton, Pennsylvania during normal business hours. To view the report online, visit fcc.org.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Pat Ward's leading the way into part 4 of this week's series.
And welcome back to this week's Leading the Way with Pat Ward. Pat, what are some of the challenges you face with the United Way?
Right now, the biggest challenge in this COVID era, Tracy, is fundraising. Last year, We had our worst year ever fundraising-wise. Our cash total was just over $288,000. We had another about $175,000 in-kind gifts, but the total was over $350,000. But unfortunately, the need is so great and the dollars are so few, and it's ironic. At our annual meeting, I told the folks that were in attendance on a Zoom call that, well, we raised the fewest dollars, we've actually served the most people ever. And there are days I don't know how we do it, but I really attribute the success to the dedicated people at the 20 agencies under the United Way umbrella. They're covering everything, from people that are hungry that need food. There's the Domestic Violence Center, the Drug and Alcohol Agency, Pathways, the Red Cross. I can go on and go on. Not in 3 minutes, I can't name them all, but they're all an integral part of what we do, and it's our job sometimes to coordinate. And during the COVID pandemic, I think in some instances, we not only participated with Luzerne County, the City of Hazleton, the Chamber of Commerce, but we also convened certain agencies to get together and all work together so we weren't duplicating services.
So is that something that you're just looking at because of the COVID, like finding new ways to try and bring more money in?
Oh, absolutely, and it's not just because of COVID. It's there's a number of factors. There's inflation at the present time. People aren't working the way they used to, so they're not in the workplace. But we've changed the way we do things. We're trying to evolve, and most importantly, I think a lot of what we're doing is going to continue when we put COVID behind us, because there were certain programs, Tracy, that we did last year that normally would take months to plan and execute, and we did them in a matter of hours.
Wow, that's wonderful. Pat, what are some of your achievements you're most proud of?
In the United Way?
In life in general.
Well, I'm most proud of our children. Kathy and I have 2 adult children. We have one beautiful granddaughter, Nora, who just celebrated her 4th birthday, so I'm most proud of them. In the United Way, I'm really proud of a number of things. We established the Dolly Parton Imagination Library to provide children, babies up until age 5, with an age-appropriate preschool book. We also dove in feet first into the state's tax credit program, and we're providing scholarships so needier families can send their kids to qualified preschools. And I'm happy with a lot of the changes we made over the years.
That's great. Well, check back tomorrow night as Pat Ward continues leading the way into part 5 of this week's segment. Good night.
And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page, YouTube page, or at WYLNTV.com. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.